Introduction to the Mystery of Resistance. That which offers no resistance overcomes the hardest substances. That which offers no resistance can enter where there is no space. Few in the world can truly comprehend the depth of a teaching without words, or fully understand the immense value of non-action. In our modern world, we are taught that to achieve anything, we must fight, push, and force our way through obstacles. We praise hardness, determination, and relentless effort, but ancient wisdom suggests an entirely different path. It speaks of a power that does not fight, yet always wins. It speaks of a soft, yielding energy that can penetrate even the most solid barriers. This is not laziness, nor is it mere passivity. It is the deep understanding of nature's laws. When you look at the world around you, you see that the things that survive are often the ones that bend. The rigid tree snaps in a storm, while the blade of grass bends and survives. This is the starting point of our journey into the ultimate philosophy of flow. The myth and reality of Lao Tzu. These profound and paradoxical words are traditionally attributed to the ancient Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu. However, when we look into the history of this great master, we find more questions than answers. In truth, there is no definitive historical proof that a single man named Lao Tzu ever actually lived. His name literally translates to Old Master, which has led many scholars to believe he might have been a mythical figure, a composite character representing a collective of ancient sages. But if we follow the legends and traditional accounts, his life would have unfolded somewhere around the 5th and 6th century BC. This crucial timeline places him in the exact same era as another monumental Chinese thinker, Confucius. Imagine an ancient world where these two massive minds coexisted, shaping the entire destiny of Eastern thought. But while Confucius focused heavily on social order, rituals, and human relations, Lao Tzu looked much deeper. He looked directly at existence itself and the cosmic laws governing the universe. The legacy of the Tao Te Ching and Wu Wei. Whether Lao Tzu was a single flesh and blood man or a beautiful collection of nameless sages, the legacy left behind is undeniable. This philosophical figurehead is credited with writing a masterpiece called the Tao Te Ching, which serves as the foundational text of Taoism. Within its poetic and cryptic verses, one central concept stands out above all others: the concept of Wu Wei. When translated literally into English, Wu Wei is often rendered as non-action, effortless action, or the highly paradoxical action of non-action. To the modern mind, this sounds like a complete contradiction. How can one act by not acting? How can we achieve results without making an effort? To understand this, we have to look past the literal translation and see what it means in reality. Wu Wei does not mean lying on a couch doing absolutely nothing. It means alignment. It means acting in such a way that your behavior is perfectly synchronized with the natural forces around you, eliminating all friction. The modern translation, the state of flow. In a practical, modern psychological sense, we can best describe Wu Wei as the state of flow. This is that magical, high-performance psychological space that elite athletes, artists, and musicians often refer to as the zone. When a basketball player, a dancer, or a writer enters this zone, a fascinating shift occurs. They engage in highly complex, demanding actions without any conscious sense of striving. They move through time and space almost effortlessly, as if they are being carried forward by an invisible, powerful wave. The struggle disappears, but the performance skyrockets. Psychologists have studied this state for decades, noting that it represents the peak of human experience. In the zone, you are not thinking about doing the task, you're the task. The separation between the actor and the action completely dissolves. You no longer feel like you are forcing your body to move. Instead, you feel like a witness to your own perfection. Anatomy of the zone. Inside this state of flow, all psychological extremes simply melt away. There are no heavy worries about what might happen next, and no exhausting ruminations about past mistakes. The loud, critical, and often anxious ego voice that usually occupies our mind completely shuts down. Everything seems to unfold in a perfectly natural course, dictated entirely by a razor-sharp focus and pure instinct. Your body thinks on its own, bypassing the slow, clunky mechanisms of the conscious analytical mind. In this space, time itself seems to alter its pace, sometimes slowing down to a crawl, allowing you to see every detail with absolute clarity. It is a state of ecstatic, deep alignment with the immediate present moment. As an introduction to this beautiful, yielding tradition of ancient Taoism, I would like to invite you to step away from the constant hustle of modern life. Welcome to a deeper exploration of the philosophy of flow, the text that outlived empires. The Tao Te Ching is a deeply mysterious piece of art standing as a monument in human history. Not only is there zero scholarly consensus on when exactly it was compiled, but as we mentioned, the literal existence of its author remains a point of intense debate. Yet, despite its obscure origins, one thing is absolutely certain: the sheer profundity of this short work has left an indelible mark on humanity that persists to this day. It has outlived empires, outlasted political regimes, and survived the rise and fall of countless civilizations. It speaks directly to the universal human soul, transcending centuries, languages, and cultural boundaries. To appreciate its global impact, consider this remarkable fact. To this day, the Tao Te Ching remains the most translated work in world literature after the Holy Bible. People from all walks of life, across thousands of years, keep returning to its pages, searching for the ultimate truth about how to navigate reality. The definitive nature of the Tao. The absolute essence of Taoist philosophy is living in perfect harmony with the Tao. The word Tao is most commonly translated simply as the way or the path. But what exactly is the Tao? That is a question we cannot truly answer with words, and Taoist masters repeatedly remind us that it is entirely futile to try. Our intellectual understanding can only go as far as the strict limitations of our human perception and language. The true Tao is an all-encompassing cosmic force that is far beyond our comprehension and cannot be perceived by the five senses. It is the source of everything, the rhythm of the universe itself. This is why the famous, foundational opening line of the Tao Te Ching warns us immediately: the Tao that can be described is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be spoken is not the eternal name. To define it is to lose it. It cannot be trapped in a definition, it can only be experienced. Cultivating stillness in the midst of chaos. So, how do we actually live our lives in agreement with an unnameable, mysterious force? Taoist literature does not provide us with a rigid, dogmatic, step-by-step practical manual. Instead, it offers beautiful clues to guide our daily awareness. It speaks continuously of achieving a profound stillness of mind, curbing our frantic, overstimulated senses, practicing deep humility, and completely ceasing our endless striving. Crucially, this stillness of mind does not mean sitting isolated in a quiet room with your eyes closed forever. It is a dynamic stillness that can be maintained right in the middle of an active, busy life. Even in the midst of intense physical work, chaotic environments, or critical decisions, your inner mind can remain as calm and undisturbed as a peaceful mountain lake. When this inner silence is achieved, your outer actions begin to move without friction. Let us look at a classic story that illustrates this perfectly. The ancient story of Cook Ting. The classic Taoist text Zhuangzi illustrates this dynamic stillness with a famous story about a man named Cook Ting. Ting was a humble cook whose job was to butcher oxen for the royal court. However, he did his work with such a sublime state of flow that his movements looked like a beautiful, choreographed dance. One day, Lord Wenhui stood watching him work. The Lord was utterly amazed by the rhythm, the grace, and the effortless precision of the cook's movements. Every cut of the blade was like a perfect note in a symphony, completely timed, fluid, and free of struggle. It didn't look like butchery. It looked like high art. When the Lord praised him for achieving such incredible, superhuman skill, Cook Ting laid down his knife, looked at the Lord, and replied, "What I care about is the way, the Tao, which goes far, far beyond mere mechanical skill. The knife of subtlety and longevity." Cook Ting then explained his long journey to the Lord. He said, "When I first started my job 19 years ago, all I could see was the massive, overwhelming body of the whole ox. But after 3 years of deep focus and alignment, I no longer saw the whole ox. And now, I do not look with my physical eyes at all. My perception has stopped, and my spirit moves where it wants." He explained that instead of hacking through the animal with brute force, he simply guided his knife through the natural openings, spaces, and hollows that already existed within the structure. He never forced the blade, meaning he never touched a ligament, a tendon, or a hard joint. Ting concluded, "A good cook changes his knife once a year because he cuts. A mediocre cook changes it every month because he hacks. But I have used this exact same knife for 19 years, and its blade is as sharp as if it just came from the grindstone." The river of life, yes, the culture of hustle. This beautiful story perfectly connects to the core Taoist teaching regarding the immense power of gentleness and subtlety. By forcing, screaming, and striving, we might eventually get a job done, but we burn massive amounts of life energy and cause serious collateral damage along the way. This stands in direct opposition to the modern Western ideal, which constantly encourages us to push harder, fight, grind, and take aggressive control of our lives. We are told that results are a direct consequence of how much stress we endure. Yet, as a result of this relentless forcing, millions of people suffer from chronic burnout, severe anxiety, and sleep disorders. Taoism compares our life to a flowing river. You can spend your entire life swimming frantically against the current, exhausting yourself until you drown, or you can let go of the branches, trust the water, and intelligently navigate the stream. The wisdom of water and the art of letting go. Nothing epitomizes this ultimate Taoist virtue better than water itself. Water is the softest, most yielding substance in the natural world. It has no permanent shape, no rigid goals, and no specific desires. Yet, nothing can compete with water when it comes to overcoming the hard and rigid. Over time, gentle water completely erodes the most massive, solid rocks into sand. Furthermore, water always naturally seeks the lowest, most unpopular places that humans avoid. It does not compete for status or recognition. It simply flows, nourishing every single living thing it passes without asking for anything in return. This aligns beautifully with the Stoic concept of Amor Fati, the unconditional love of your fate. When you enter a true state of flow, your anxious obsession with future results completely vanishes. There is no past regret, no future fear. There is only you and the present moment, perfectly unified. To step into this power, you must master the art of letting go. Stop fighting the river of life. Step into the present, trust the process, and live your life without hesitation. Thank you for watching.